We just talked to Mark Tauschek, who's the communications person here. He said that there may be an opportunity to talk to a trauma surgeon. He wasn't exactly sure or clear if they would be at the presser that's going to be happening with law enforcement in Perry, or if we would be able to chat with them maybe here on site. That wouldn't be happening till probably around 3 o'clock. That presser, the release, the meeting with law enforcement would need to be happening first to know what kind of details they can release. But what we do know is that medical workers here are working very hard to help these victims, true victims of this crime, to help them in any way that they can. And we'll keep you updated as we learn more.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. An important part of this as people responding to the shooting in Perry, caring for the victims who were shot. We also have, as you can imagine, a lot of information coming into the newsroom from official sources, and one just came in from the Polk County Medical Coordination Center. Just that its entire network of healthcare is assisting with the shooting that took place. And then also just getting something from GoFundMe here, that a GoFundMe has been set up as well. So, you know, as we've been talking about, the impact of something like this is not isolated just to the town in which it happens. There really is a ripple effect. And we talked about the many school districts around the area that immediately jumped into action and responded by locking down their schools, adding security there, and then just community-wide, a sense of shock, disbelief, anger at what's happened. All of the emotions, and you know, throughout the day, throughout the next days, throughout the months, they will all change because you'll have all of that same emotion when just trying to wrap your head around what has happened. More reaction coming into what happened out of Perry. We've heard from elected officials, just hearing now from the governor, Governor Kim Reynolds, saying our hearts are broken by this senseless tragedy. Our prayers are with the students, teachers, and families of the Perry community. She goes on to say, I have been in contact with law enforcement agencies and am continuing to monitor the situation. I will be joining their press conference today. So speaking of the timing of that news conference, we know that there was scheduled for one at 10 this morning. It happened a little bit after. Obviously, things are flexible, trying to get the latest information. Roger Riley on the ground saying that he was getting some timelines as far as when this will occur. He was saying around 2:30 and 3 o'clock.
Yes.
So we're trying to.
I think Roger was hearing 2:30. Bill Pearson, one of our bosses here at the station, said that on the Department of Public Safety website it says 3 o'clock. So rest assured, as soon as we get any updates from law enforcement, we will pass them immediately on to you, and we'll definitely let you know when a news conference is scheduled, and we will bring it to you live when it does happen. I was talking about what's coming in via email, and there was a lot. We received an email. My son lives in Fairfield and says their high school is on lockdown right now. Do you have any news on this? To my knowledge, we don't, but hearing the town Fairfield immediately brings to mind for me the horrible murder that happened there, committed by two high school students. High school Spanish teacher Noema Graber was murdered by them in the city park there in Fairfield, in another small town. And that, as we learned, apparently was spurred because one of the boys involved had been given a bad grade in Spanish class. And so, you know, as we're talking about all of this and the possible suspect who we think is dead because of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, everyone is going to be asking why. Why did this happen? And then, of course, social media is playing a part in all of this as well. It's been playing out on TikTok here today with this case. There was social media involved in the Fairfield case as well. In fact, it was a big part of the investigation on the part of law enforcement. Speaking of that, let's go to our Kaylin Thompson, because Kaylin is the reporter who first talked to a student who had some insight to share about what transpired at Perry High School today. Kaylin.
Yeah, Aaron, that student was the one who pointed out to me the TikTok, which he said is a classmate shown there, a student here at Perry High School. If we can see the TikTok, you can see he's in the bathroom. There's a blue duffel bag, and there are the words, "Now we wait." So a very ominous post on TikTok. I've since tried to click on that and it's been removed, possibly the profile even taken down since then. But when I was but yeah, we still have not confirmed that is the shooter, but that was just one of the points the student made to me when I was speaking with him. He also laid out how the day started for him. This was the first day back to class for Perry students and teachers and staff after winter break. So normally a time of, you're excited to be back to school, be back in a routine, you're refreshed, you're excited to see your friends, but that quickly turned to terror and confusion. The student explained how it turned into chaos for him.
I just heard a couple of bangs, not really gunshots. They're not very loud, and we saw a bunch of kids running, and we asked what happened because we were kind of concerned, but we thought it was just for band or something, just messing around. But then my girlfriend's friend said that it was a shooting, or that there was a shooter with a gun, and then we got scared. But again, we thought it was like a prank or something. Like a lot of people prank about that stuff these days, and that's when a bunch of cops started coming, and we knew it was serious. And when we were trying to leave, one of our teachers started screaming at us. And that's when we knew it was serious. He was telling us to leave.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, coming to school and then that happening, right? This was first day back to class for Perry after the winter break. And so really concerning and confusing moments for this community and really the state. I think we're all waiting for updated information from officials to see exactly what happened, who was involved, and still the question of why did this happen. And so we're waiting to hear from those law enforcement officials later this afternoon. But social media is playing a part in this. As we mentioned, the TikTok, still unconfirmed if that was the shooter, but students, as that student had told me, are talking about that, and who was impacted there, as well as just community members and Iowans in general. We're all scrolling on social media right now, and you're probably seeing people change their profile pictures to that Pray for Perry. A lot of blue, a lot of hearts right now. And as I mentioned before a little earlier, Life Serve Blood Center also posted on Facebook and their social media pages that they have given products to area hospitals to help with those Perry High School shooting victims. And so if you are feeling helpless right now, don't know what to do, that is one way you can help, is by giving blood, because near or far, you're helping the situation.
An outpouring of support as expected. When something bad happens in Iowa, Iowans will rally around this community. In this case, it happens to be Perry. Kaylin Thompson reporting live for us. Thank you.
And Iowa recently set up a system so students and really anyone can report potential threats.
Yeah, the Safe and Sound Iowa app and website was developed as part of Governor Reynolds' school safety initiative. It is free for every school in Iowa. This app launched last March, and in the first few months it received around 100 tips.
More than 800 Iowa schools plan to promote the app directly to students. The app allows users to submit tips anonymously. That information on how to download the app or find the tip line is on the Department of Public Safety website. I'm fairly certain it lives on the WHO 13 website as well. And as Kaylin mentioned, LifeServe asking for donations. It is responding to this. As we know, victims have been sent to hospitals right here in Des Moines, both Mercy One and Unity Point.
Yeah, we talk about the power of social media, and in this case, a lot of people wanting to come forward and help, also to help keep their students safe. We're looking ahead to the next news briefing from authorities with the latest on the investigative part of all of this. Roger Riley is outside Perry High School and joins us now with the latest. What can you tell us, Roger?
Yeah, I heard you talk a little bit ago about the posting on the DPS website saying the news conference has been moved to 3 o'clock. Sergeant Alex Dinkler with the state troopers said that that is confirmed. They're now shooting for 3 o'clock news release. And for those of us out here on scene, there's cameras spread all over out here up close to the school. We are all going to move back away from the school, southwest of the football stadium where we were. That's where that briefing will take place. And Dinkler says that the governor will be here. And she will be here to comment on the situation. And I talked to, just finished chatting with a lot of network news people, including our own company's News Nation. They came all the way from Sioux City and broke off from caucus coverage to come here and report on this story. So, again, it's I just can't remember the last time I've ever been on the air this long on something like this. It's something that thankfully we've not had to see that much of in Iowa, but today we're just waiting to get the rest of the information so we know exactly what we're talking about. And then also later, hopefully we'll get some more information from the hospitalists in terms of what they went through in terms of dealing with this. There's so many moving parts to this that we're still waiting. We just don't have the whole story yet.
Very well put, Roger.
Yes.
We do not have the whole story yet. We'll check back in with you certainly at 3 o'clock as you've been leading our coverage there on the ground in Perry. That just opens the door for us to sort of recap what we do know.
Yeah, this all happening, the timeline, if we can put it up on your screen, that first call coming into law enforcement just before the bell rang for students in Perry. It's the first day back from the holiday break. So as we've been reporting and as we've been hearing from students, there's an exciting start to the day as they're heading back from the holiday break. But this is the timeline of what we know so far. 7:37, the first call, police arrive 7 minutes later. We're learning that there were multiple victims involved in this school shooting. Police, law enforcement telling us no further damage to the community. As we've been telling you, school had not started yet, but we do know a lot of students already gathered there in the school, outside of the school, nearby, waiting for that first bell to ring. But as we've also been sharing with you, still so many questions, including how many people were shot, the questions of why it happened, which we know those answers might not come soon, might not come at all, but more information throughout the day as we're expecting in this school shooting investigation.
We do know that 3 people were shot in terms of victims here. We're told 2 were students. One was Principal Dan Marburger, the high school principal who's been with the district there for 25 years. And then that there was a 4th victim, that being the suspected shooter who is dead because of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Dan Marburger, well known in the Perry community, and at this point in time, this is the information we have about a suspected shooter posting on TikTok that he was about to carry out that shooting as he waited in a bathroom at the high school just moments before the school day was set to begin.
As we're talking about the victims and the latest on their care, we are here in Des Moines live as well outside of the hospitals. Our Lindsay Burrell has been following that part of the story, and we want to check in with her one final time. Lindsay.
Yeah, guys, what we know so far is that here at Unity Point and at Mercy, there are multiple people that are receiving care. We know here at Unity Point, at least 2 to 3 victims are receiving treatment for gunshot-related wounds. We have seen a lot of activity this morning. We've seen a Dallas County ambulance come in and out. We have seen life flight helicopters for Mercy One, for Unity Point, land, fly, fly, take off. We're not 100% sure if those are all going towards Perry, helping with the incident that's happened there, the very tragic incident. But we have just seen a lot of activity. What we are hearing is maybe after the press release that's going to be happening, or the meeting that will be happening with law enforcement at 3 o'clock, we might have the opportunity to speak with a trauma surgeon. We're not exactly sure if that's going to be here, if the trauma surgeon will be in Perry, and our groups there will cover this. But if we're able to speak with someone, we'll make sure to get you all the latest information.
All right, our Lindsay Burrell on the ground here in Des Moines, covering the situation at both Methodist and Mercy hospitals for us, where victims from the shooting in Perry are being treated.
It has been a busy morning for law enforcement, an emotional morning, a frightening morning for the Perry community, everyone impacted. We have been covering the shooting at the Perry High School all morning with Lindsay Burrell here, Roger Riley, Kaylin Thompson, Teodora Mitov, Cynthia Naranjo, all on scene gathering the latest information, just recapping the shock that is still being felt and will be felt for hours, days to come.
Well, and as we told you, although law enforcement told us there was some good news here that the shooting took place before the school day had actually begun, there were still many, many students and staff there in Perry High School when the shooting took place. Our Teodora Mitov spoke with one of those students this morning.
And then we hear he's down. You can go out. And I run, and you can just see glass everywhere, blood on the floor. I get to my car, and they're taking a girl out of the auditorium who had been shot in her leg.
So that's Ava, who is a senior at Perry High School, and Teodora explained to us that the woman there with her is her stepmother, who just happens to be the manager at the Casey's, which is located literally next door to the high school. She put the store on lockdown as soon as she heard that this situation was unfolding at the high school. It's really having a far-reaching impact.
She was saying some of the students coming in to hide because they were gathering there before they were heading over for classes to start. That Ava, the student, and the others that were with her in the counselor's office, they too were hiding. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as we're sharing the facts and letting you know what we know, you just have to pause for a little bit mm-hmm. and hear that emotion from a high school senior, from what she heard, what she experienced, what she saw. I mean, it's really hard for us to put into words when people are saying, yes, they're shocked, yes, they're saddened, but you hear a young woman explaining what no student should have to experience on the first day of school after holiday break.
And speaking of that emotion, we want to touch base with one of our producers, Cynthia Naranjo, who grew up in Perry. She graduated from Perry High School. Cynthia, I'm sure you're hearing from so many people in your hometown.
Yeah, that's right, Erin. I've been hearing a lot of business owners have been closing down their doors just in response to this tragedy. I know that we spoke to a couple people, and they're still in shock, and as well as I am, I'm still in shock. I still can't believe that this has happened at my high school. And for a lot of people, you just never expect something like this happening in their small town. And for many people who have gone through something like this, there's just no words. There's just no words. Nothing can explain the somber feeling in my hometown. You can sense that it's just quiet. The one restaurant we went in with Teodora and I went into, there's no music playing, just news, and just no words to describe the situation here.
Cynthia, I know you graduated for Perry High School in 2017. You must have known Principal Marburger.
Yes, he is an incredible man. I knew his daughter. I actually went to school with both of his daughters, and then my younger sister went to school with his youngest, and just an amazing man. Every morning he would greet the students, hey, good morning, how are you doing? Just there for his students, just there. And we love that about Perry. We're all there for each other, especially for Principal Marburger.
Yeah, such a sad situation. Again, we understand that Principal Dan Marburger is one of the people who was shot and injured in this incident at Perry High School this morning. I've heard from someone I know well who has lived her entire life in Perry and still lives there that he was sent to a Des Moines area hospital and has been in surgery. Again, we don't have any updates right now from hospital communications people about the conditions of those who were taken to Des Moines area hospitals. We're going to be updating you on all of this as the day progresses. And as we've told you, there is a news conference scheduled for 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, we understand that law enforcement will be able to give us, hopefully answer some of those questions that we're still waiting for. We know Governor Kim Reynolds is expected to be on hand for that, along with all of the law enforcement agencies who respond